GMO Tuesday. It's GMO Tuesday. Buddy Rich Orchestra bringing us in Caesars, Las Vegas, 1971. Buddy Rich, baby. Buddy Rich Orchestra. Bowl. Was he good? Was he good? Yes, he was. Hey, boy, do we have a full slate today. Ladies and gentlemen, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know, we got to start off with bad news because I don't want to end on bad news. We got to start off with the bad stuff. You know, over in Germany, we keep hearing about Germany right now being whatever crazy thing they got going on with their immigration issue. That's the bizarrest madness stuff I've ever seen in my life, or whatever. But they're reporting, I don't but some of these things that they put in the fipronil. There's some kind of contamination going on in the eggs. I was looking at a picture, link in the description. This is gross. They got like a 40-yard dumpster that they're just pouring eggs into. That's a lot of eggs, man. That's a lot of eggs. Holy Toledo. Man, that's in Germany, though. Let's keep it over there. I want you to think about something. Bad eggs, bad food, GMO, Merkel. Okay, just tuck that away for later. You know, and of course, really terrible news here locally in the United States, in Virginia, in the Roanoke area. The Roanoke area, I believe the river, Tinker River. Termix, Termix, yes it is, 5301, Termix 5301, ruptured container. This is a classic case of carelessness, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but when you're dealing with poisons, you take some precautions, you take extra precautions. Well, maybe safety issues weren't followed here. I don't know. I do know that when we removed chemicals from properties, we had a barrier between the ground and the chemical that where we stored them. So I don't know if that's what's going on there, if that was a requirement like it was for us. I don't know. But again, leaching. Puncture container leaks this poison, Termix 5301. It's a suffragant. It's an additive to pesticides and herbicides, by the way. So it does another kind of, gives a different, it leaches, it rained. All the water ran off the farm into the river, kills all the fish. They're dead. Well, they're all belly up. Fungus, you know. Now the fish are there. You go fishing, you eat them. You don't poison them. You don't pollute the river. Nothing live now, man. So keep some good thoughts for the Tinker River. Hope they can get that fixed up, man. I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you fix that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, something like this, something of that nature, hazards of the large farming, industrial farming, is that one of the things that, you know, I mean, when you think about it, you kind of come to know a little bit about that. You don't see accidents like this happening on smaller organic style farms where they're providing for a local community and not somebody in China. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, China capable of growing their own food, ain't they? They've been doing it for, I don't know how long they've been doing it. I mean, think about this for a minute. It comes down to know your farmer, know your food. Know your farmer. That's what Wilson says. Know your farmer, know your food. It's just that simple. I don't know what to say. Speaking of knowing things, MDG blogger, MDG blogger, that girl in the Keystone State, another organic girl, another cutie pie organic girl, man. Merkel, MDG blogger. Merkel, no contest, no comparison. Paula Mayer, Paula's Healthy Living, right next door in Ohio. Pretty girl, eating healthy. I think there's a pattern. PaulasHealthyLiving.com, and of course, MDG blogger, organic for green livings. Go see that girl, man. They got some good stuff, Speaking of drop dead gorgeous girls, Zen Honeycutt, of course, Monday nights, she's been having a mom's empowerment deal. Of course, Zen Honeycutt, moms across America, found some goofy stuff. She's noticed her kid was having health problems she'd never heard of. She started looking at the food. She started saying, hey, wait a minute, something's not right here. So now she's sharing this knowledge with moms across America. Moms across America, guess what? It ain't moms across America no more. No. This past week, Zen telling me that empowering moms has become so important. Not just here in the United States. People from New Zealand, it's around the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's around the world. That's how long the Monsanto arm is. Around the world. It ain't just in our backyard here in the US of A. It's down in New Zealand too. The mothers down in New Zealand, they care about what they feed their kid. How's that a bad person, folks? How's that a bad person? I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think that's a good mom, but she's telling me that this empowerment, Monday nights, 5:30 Pacific time. Got to remember, Zen Honeycutt, she's in the state of California, down there in Southern California, but her deal is going really, really good. Got people from New Zealand, of course, New Zealand, that's down under. What else is down under? That drop dead gorgeous Sheena Alexandra. Yes. What is it? It's, I hope I say it right. I don't know, man. I don't know. Bondi Radio? BondiRadio.com.au. You can catch her. She's a wellness radio host. Now, she's telling me down in in Australia, she's telling me that agriculture and whatnot is very, 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 very regulated in her country. And she is in, I think, Queensland. I mean, Australia's a pretty big chunk of whatever floating around. I think they call it a continent. I don't know. But it's a pretty good sized chunk of dirt floating around in the South Pacific, wherever it is in that part of the ocean. I know it's down by New Zealand where they did the Hobbit doohickey. Yeah. But our question of the week comes from Sheena. It comes from Sheena. She asked me, why in the promo did I mention Kevin Trudeau? Kevin Trudeau had, I don't know, man. Here in the United States, Kevin Trudeau is the neighbor governor, or whatever you want to call him. I think he's lost leave of his senses. That's just my personal opinion. He has refugees living in ball stadiums, okay? He has refugees living in facilities designed to hold public events. That's not where you put people to live. That's not how you say, hey, we're an open-armed country. That's bizarre. That's nuts. That just invites problems you don't need. And, oh, by the way, speaking of inviting problems you don't need, with Gary Trudeau, his country, Canada, Aqua Bounty Salmon. Are you eating fake fish? Are you eating GMO fish? You don't know. Up in Canada, 4.5 tons. 4.5 tons, that's a lot of damn fish. I mean, a fish only weighed 2-3 pounds. 2 or 3 pounds, think about that. A ton is 2,000. That's like 1,000 fish. 1,000 fish. 4.5 tons they've eaten up there. Unlabeled, by the way. Oh, yeah, that's unlabeled. Here's the thing, okay? These fish that they're growing, that they're giving hormones or making the hormone, I don't know what they're doing with them. But now they take the fish, they do something with the egg, Okay? Now, you got to get the fish to get the egg first, to do something with the egg. Okay? So they're taking Atlantic salmon. They're taking the egg out of the Atlantic salmon. They're doing something to it to hormone boost it or something. Then they're taking that egg, shipping it down to Panama, hatching the egg, so they can grow the fish up in 1 year. And now they're bringing it back and feeding the people in Canada the fish. I don't know what happened to letting the fish grow up and catch it. I don't really know what happened to that idea or that concept. But fish farming, just like any other type of industrial farming, has many, 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 many drawbacks. And this comes from somebody who knows. I do know a little something about fish. I actually, as a kid, won awards for breeding discus and angelfish and other tropical fish, red hump geophaguses, convict cichlids, stuff like that. But one of the things that happens with fish, okay, just like with chickens, just like with cows, with pigs, with goats, with sheep, they're a living organism. And when you take, this is what I don't get. Every parent flips out in the next 3 weeks because their child goes to school and they're sitting in a classroom with 35 other kids that nobody knows where they were for the last 2 months, and they all come home with the sniffles. They all come home because they're sharing all the bugs with each other that they picked up along their journey. That's what happens. And guess what happens when you put 10,000 fish in 100 gallons? That's what happens. The same thing. Oh, and by the way, they're all peeing and pooping in the water. Farming fish is not, I mean, unless you have a really good operation, good filtration systems, fish really do, the water's moving where they live. Think trout, think catfish, think trout, think catfish. You're going to see the different types of water they live in. Okay? It's just, nothing against a catfish. They're pretty good eating too. But, that is my deal here. That's the deal on Kevin Trudeau. He has an immigration problem, and I'm just wondering, Mr. Trudeau, a lot of us down here in the U.S. of A., in the United States of America, we're kind of wondering, since your country, Canada, it's kind of a hotbed for GMO production. They got the canola, I don't know what all they got GMO'd up there, but Canada's GMO deep. They're butt deep in GMO production of everything. Now we got fish that, oh, by the way, unchecked, untested on anything, getting ready in the food. It's already in the food supply. There's never been a test on this to find out anything. Nothing. Just here. Go eat it. Go eat it. So I'm just wondering if Mr. Trudeau hasn't been eating too many of these GMO products, and it's kind of started working his brain to thinking weird and thinking, I don't know, because he's thinking crazy. Just my humble opinion, Mr. Trudeau is thinking crazy. And I'll bet you there's a lot of Canadians that feel the same way. I'll bet there is. Yes, sirree, Bob. Hey. Unbelievable. But, you can catch Sheena Alexandra, www.bondiradio, BONDIRADIO.com.au. I'm not sure what time. Maybe she can put something in the comments for us. What time is your show back there in Down Under, young lady? Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I really do have one of these hats that kind of looks Australian. I do have one. It's one of those days. What can I say? But now, speaking of health, she has a wellness radio show, but speaking of healthy, Dr. Stephanie Seneff, the podcast, link in the thing. She's got some stuff going on, and her opinions on her thoughts. Very good stuff. Very eye-opening. Very make you aware. Glyphosate autism. Glyphosate autism. I'm going to throw something at you here. I know when the people, when we talk about this, when we talk about the rise of certain health issues, the argument has always been correlation is not causation. Really? Is that so? So, all the fentanyl noopa-doopa-doopy doll that leached into the farm, into the river, we can't correlate that to the causation? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. There's a call going out. A call going out for untainted non-GMO garbanzo beans. Garbanzo beans. You know, chickpeas. Yeah, Portuguese beans. Portuguese beans. Be GMO in my Portuguese beans. Are you kidding me? Man, there's nothing sacred anymore. Is there no food sacred at all? My garbanzo beans. Garbanzo beans. Man, Lake Tahoe markets, ladies and gentlemen. Lake Tahoe markets, of course. They got the Incline Village. They got the farmers market there. They got one up at Cahill Park. Up on Kingsbury, great. You can look down and see the whole lake. Great countryside, great. And this time of year, boy, I'll tell you what. Not only you got good food, that's pretty girl territory, man. It's got a lake. What can you say? What can you say? One of the most gorgeous places on the planet. On the planet. Bentley grass-fed beef. Get a hold of Lake Tahoe Markets. www.laketahoemarkets.com. They'll get you squared away. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause for just 1 minute. I got to get a cup of coffee, and we'll be right back. While you're dancing, it's continental. You see, while you're dancing, your voice is gentle and sentimental. You'll find before the dance is through that you're in love with her. Hey, she's in love with you. It's Nat King Cole, the Continental. The Continental. That there's a rhythm in your heart, so certain rhythm that you can't control, and you will do the Continental. Yeah, the Continental, baby. Hey, Nat King Cole, he has some good stuff. One of my father's favorite guys. One of my father's favorite guys. Hey, you know, you remember when I told you I was going to take some of this here? We're going to take some of that right there. We're going to put it with some of this here. And we're going to give you this here. Now, why am I going to give you this here? Because that there, after we take some of this and do some of this to it, that there is going to use less of my number one selling product. My number one selling product. We're going to make this product over here to use less of my number one selling product. I know I probably should have worked for Barnum and Bailey doing this. I know. Because you know why? Monsanto took a page right out of Barnum and Bailey's book. The Grady Grass. Go see it. Because this product right here that Monsanto gave us was going to use less of their number one selling product. Congress bought into it. Debbie let my constituents in the back stab it now. Bought into it for a tune of $15,000. Yes, she did. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? What is up, you ask? What is up, you ask? Glyphosate sales. I made this so we use less. That's why we're making it. We want to use less. It's our number one selling product. Whoop-de-doopy-doo. Hello? How can anybody sitting in a seat in the Congress and in the Senate buy into that? How can anybody at the EPA, speaking of the EPA, what is going on with the EPA? Huh? Collusion. Not with the Russians, with the Monsanto. Collusion, yeah. Covering it up. Link in the description. Everything we're talking about, link is in the description, ladies and gentlemen. Go look at these stories. These are unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up. This is sci-fi way out there in left field stuff. I don't... It's very, very hard not to call people derogatory statements. I mean, when a scientist, when a guy, I'm just going to call him out. When you use Neil deGrasse Tyson as a mouthpiece, he's been bought, ladies and gentlemen. The guy's got too much stuff in his head not to be bought. He's one of the astronomical IQ people on the planet, smartest people. Let me talk down my nose because you have to believe me because I am so smart and you're dumb. You must believe that rubbing the boy flower on the girl flower is the same thing as taking this and putting it in this and we'll give you this. Yes, it's the same thing. You're modifying your food. Yeah, more. The guy is a rocket scientist. He's not a geneticist. Does it make a difference? If it doesn't make a difference, then their argument against Stephanie Seneff carries no water. Simple like that. Their argument against Dr. Jane Goodall carries no water. Against Vandana Shivi carries no water. None whatsoever. They do nothing. Stephen Savage, another guy, wants to tell us, I do this because I love it. Nobody pays me to do it. You're full of crap. How do you pay your bills? You don't go out and talk all day long. You don't go out and do all this stuff for nothing. And therein lies the problem, ladies and gentlemen, with the EPA. They've been purchased. They've been purchased. Not only, but they've colluded. Monsanto has been caught in bed now with the writers, that they're influencing the writers. Go to my G Plus page and look what they did to this gal. 2 Fox reporters going to do a milk. Your milk is bad, folks. Milk is not good. Milk. Ben and Jerry's, throw the ice cream out. You keep eating Ben and Jerry's, you're going to get a third eye or something growing out the back of your ear. But they're bribing scientists. There's no questions about it. The emails are starting to expose everything. The court cases, there's hundreds of cases are being developed every day to be litigated, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps it's time that everybody starts asking the president. Perhaps it's time that we start asking the president, Mrs. President, the EPA, the FDA, the USDA, hey, please get the poison out of our food. Maybe Sheena down there can say, hey, maybe they can start asking down in Australia. Maybe moms across America can get the moms down in New Zealand to start telling our people, hey, get this poison out of the food because we don't want it here either. Where are we going to send it? People quit eating the food here. They're going to try to ship it somewhere. Nobody wants it. Think about your corn chips. Think about Frito-Lay making a big production. Think about Frito-Lay, McDonald's making this big production. We, pardon me, will not use GMO potato. We will not use GMO potato. How big of you? Since everything else on your menu is GMO products. Fritos, corn chips, anything with soy, ladies and gentlemen. Corn, soy, anything. It's poppycock. India pushing back on the cotton. Everybody is starting to say, hey, wait a minute, you duped us. This has been going on. How long has this been going on? Oh, since Dan, I can't spell potato, quail. Put Michael Taylor in play. Substantially equivalent. And then we got Al Gore and the climate change. I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh at that. I can't help but laugh at that. His movie's tanking, and everybody's realized, you know, if you're going to tell somebody something catastrophic is going to... You notice they went from 10 years to 100 years down the road on this catastrophic. None of us will be alive. Nobody's going to care. Okay? They'll look back and say, oh, what a bunch of idiots they were. That's what's going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the planet is evolving. It is always going to evolve. It's the nature of the planet. I learned that in like geography, I don't know, in the fourth grade or something. I don't know. But I'm not sure what they're teaching our children anymore, but where they come up with all these nutbag ideas. I know Al Gore got his nutbag idea. It was $30 million from George Soros. And nobody wants to, everybody wants to take Al Gore seriously. Hey, give me $30 million. See if I don't tell you you got a booger growing out your left eyeball or something and convince you do, okay? I could sell something for $30 million. And that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Al Gore got $30 million from George Soros, and we got climate change. Ain't life grand. I'm sorry, man. I can't help it. You know, a very wise man once said, any politician or scientist that tells you these current GMOs are safe and edible, they're either very stupid or they're lying. You can take your pick which one you are. I don't care. Your decision, your call, your choice. I don't care. But as every day opens up a new case, a new evidence of how Monsanto propaganda machine has bowled over our politicians, has invaded the court systems, has invaded the propaganda game. It's a propaganda game. They've taken the pages right out of Alinsky's playbooks and how to attack people and how to make people look stupid and maybe feel inadequate. When they're debating, they attack you from 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to get you going like this in a conversation thread. And I'm just going to say this. I don't care what side of the table you are on, whether you are pro-GMO or anti-GMO. Personally, the technology is sound. It does what it's supposed to do. That makes it sound technology. It does not make it safe. A little common sense is all it takes to figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need a PhD to understand there's poison in the food. Because if this poison in the food that's not going to harm you and not going to create health issues in your body kills another living organism on this planet, every living organism on this planet has 2 things in common. Actually, 3 things in common. They have intake and outtake and output. They consume some kind of water and air. If it kills one that consumes water and air, it's going to have some effect on everything else that has water and air. Common sense. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. It takes 3rd grade science. It takes 3rd grade geology to understand, 4th grade geology class to understand that we have been having volcanoes for billions of years on the planet. The planet has evolved. It will continue to evolve. And perhaps one day there will be no human beings. There will be another life form here that has evolved out of the ashes of what happened on this planet. I don't know. I'm not the prophet-seeking revelator. Don't claim to be. But I do know this. As long as I've been alive, the planet's been doing some crazy things. And it's all been cool because you get these light shows with the volcanoes. You get some bad things happen when tornadoes hit residential areas. You get bad things happen when earthquakes hit. Candlestick Park, 1989, while you're holding on to the sides of the rail while waiting for your team to take the field. You know, some crazy things happen on the planet, but it's the planet. We live here. Let's take care of it. Let's take care of it, because if we don't take care of it, it's going to get worse. The earthquakes, the hurricanes, all this thing, those are natural. Do we want to poison the dirt so we can't produce anything to bring us, you know, we got to grow food to eat. We got to grow food to eat. Hey, if you like what you hear, Epic Garden. Oh, forgot Epic Garden. Don't forget Epic Garden. Kevin over there at Epic Gardening, man, got some good stuff. He's always got tool stuff, tool information going on over there. A structure, shed, storage information. So he's always got some good stuff going on for you. Epic Gardening. Epic Gardening. Hey, like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, folks. Subscribe to the station. Are you in another land? Are you in another country? What's the GMO landscape like over there? Put a comment in the section if you would. Give us a comment. Let's talk around the world. Let's see what's going on. We got Australia. We got moms. I got a spider wanting to come say hi here this morning, man. Moms across America, down there in New Zealand. New Zealand moms, say hi. Say hi to us. If you got a comment, leave a comment in the section below. If you can help out, folks, hit the website. Do us a donation. Getting ready. We're getting ready. We're going to be moving soon. Remember, Alladay Mobile Media Studio. That's what's getting ready to come up here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be hitting the road doing some crazy things. In some negotiations right now. I'm not going to talk about them. I don't want to jinx them. But I got some good negotiations going on for some sustainable agriculture wrapped around a couple of people's business model. We'll see how that plays out coming up here. It could be very entertaining because it is a very viable industry. I'll say that, and it's all agriculture. So we'll see what happens. We'll test my skills, if you will. That's right, test my skills. Hey, Sheena, down in Australia. I don't know what it is. G'day. I think that's how they say it. G'day. Over there in New Zealand, I'm not sure. I think they speak English too over there in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure they do. But the moms in New Zealand, Zen Honeycutt moms across America, MDG blogger. Hey, you know what? Paula's Healthy Living. Don't forget her too. But it's almost time to start saving seeds, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get Mary's Heirloom Seeds. We'll get a comment from her, see if we can get something from her. The Petaluma Seed Bank down in the Bay Area, of course, and the Baker Seed Company. They got seed banks all across the country. We'll have to get a hold of them and see how things are going with them. You got a seed bank in your area? Get a hold of me. Let me know. Once again, give us a thumbs up. You like what you hear? Subscribe to the station. That's how it works. That's what they tell me. I don't know. Sooner or later, you hit a number and then they start doing advertising on your thing. I guess if you see advertising coming up on any of my little podcasts, I guess that means I've made the big time. I don't know, man. That's what I see on these other people's thing. So that's what we're working on. It's GMO Tuesday. It is August 8th, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, we're closing it out here at exactly 6:52 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let's have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's all be safe out there.